But right now, let's go to Robert in Texas. You're on the air. Go ahead. What's your view on the fact that America's going bad? I mean, this happens to most other countries. They get overtaken by corrupt individuals. The government is hyping up and getting the police and military ready for war with the people. What's your view on this?
Well, just like anybody I've watched this progression over the last 20 years or so, and I've seen it happening at when I was in the military way back when I was a kid, all the way to now I'm in my mid 40s, and it's amazing being in the law enforcement training area that I'm in, where you see the elevation of the drug war and then the elevation of the laws on the other side of it, and you see the only person that loses here is the middle class. And and you see the police officers being more and more militarized, and what I've seen lately at our work, and it's exactly kind of along the lines that you're talking about, is the introduction of the federal fusion part, where we bring in top recruits or top candidates from around the state, and either state, local, or county police officers, train them for a 3-week process. And the last week, they have what's called kind of a disaster drill. And each one of these individuals have to learn how to maintain continuity in government. In other words, they're the response team, and then they work the federal government, response team into their program.
Yeah, they're becoming really federalized. And
absolutely.
And it's admitted the CIA is actually secretly managing all of these threat fusion centers. So there's a CIA officer over each one, and then they go, oh, we're sending the Austin, Travis County Fusion Center people to Iraq, and they're sending county judges to Fort Hood to learn about martial law. I mean, this is admitted.
Oh, absolutely. Now, one of the things you have to, I wish Chuck Baldwin was on the phone right now, because I know he was 82nd Airborne, and I'm pretty sure he was, but I know he was in Fort Benning for a while. One of the top schools in America that really focuses on things of that nature is School of America. Now it's under a different name. They shut it down and renamed it.
And they admittedly trained the troops to learn how to torture and everything else.
Oh, absolutely. Counterinsurgency, the whole 9 yards. And that is, we have that. I mean, that was Pinochet all the way through in South America. All those were branded through.
And now the police are getting the pain compliance training.
Absolutely, and you are dead on the nose with that, and it's coming in subtle and more subtle, and then you have these guys coming back, reverting back to the mainland, from these false foreign wars, which you and I totally agree on.
And that's what Iraq is a giant laboratory. They send them there, they bring them back, they become police officers, they've run martial law in Afghanistan and Iraq, and now they're here, and now the government admits that's what it's for. I mean, is this not diabolical?
It is. Now, what even happens even further, you see this big birthing of SWAT teams and special, these ninjas running around in jumpsuits, I mean, it's basically, but they're being fractionalized. It's like if you were to set up a group of torturers. The first thing you do is you individualize them or you fractionalize them away from, the mainstream police force. And they get into this group where they're focused on, and like you say, they're radicalized. And I've seen this more and more and more, especially here in Texas.
Don't these cops realize they're part of a literal Soviet-style brainwashing campaign to be stormtroopers, to suppress the American people when the bankers totally bring us down? I mean, this is guaranteed. Their families, America, it's over. This is literally Nazi Germany, folks. This is creeping, illegal death. And I mean, and we're not joking around here.
I think you got into it a minute ago with your bravery versus knowledge statement. And I think what you see is a lot of brave guys that are being brought back here after being completely desensitized over in these foreign wars, and they just don't have the knowledge because nobody learned anything about constitutional anything in the 80s.
Well, here's the other problem. A lot of guys are smart or understand it or have discernment. They don't use them. They can pick from this pool these cadres, and then they expand the cadres to a full conversion to a paramilitary secret police intelligence web that's already dwarfing East Germany per capita. And I wish I could talk to you for hours, and I want to go to Chris and Clarence. You know, I'm going to do a couple hours this week. Will you try to listen? In fact, guys, tell me an hour that's open tomorrow so Robert and Chris and Clarence and others can be back on so people can hear this directly from them. Can you call back tomorrow, Robert?
Absolutely. Can you ask Chuck Baldwin about School of Americas and see what his comment is on that?
Absolutely. Call me back tomorrow, though. I want to hear more about this fusion center situation. Folks, we're in trouble.